Hi everyone, Jason here, and I'm here to talk to you about our Equipment Recommendation Tuesday. Today we'll be posting a review about the 85mm 1.8 lens. So I'm talking to you in our office today, sitting on my exercise ball, my chair here. Not a big fan of normal chairs, but yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the 85mm 1.8 lens. Now, I'm sure some of you are asking, well, what about the 1.4 lens? Well, the 1.4 lens is amazing. It is really nice. It is a better lens, but it's about 2 to 3 times more expensive. And you ask me, most people don't really need the 1.4 in their lens. So we're going to be talking about the 1.8 lens today. And with this lens, you'll see that I have Nikon. This is a Nikon lens. They also have Canon, Sony, Olympus, and Pentax, those equivalents. But when I'm going to be talking about the 85 in general will apply to all of those lenses or all the other brands. There's just one difference that I want to discuss with Nikon. So if you get really excited about the Nikon 85mm, just keep in mind that they have a 1.8D lens, D as in dog, which only works on cameras that have the autofocus in the body. So if you have like a Nikon D40, D60, D5000, D5100, D3000, D3100, anything along those lines where you need the autofocus in the lens, this lens won't work. Now I think Nikon came out with an 1.8G lens, but I'm not 100% sure on that. This lens runs around $400, $500 depending on where you buy it. You'll be able to find a link to Amazon where you'll be able to buy it from there down below in our blog post. Let's go into what this lens can do and what it's useful for. So first and foremost, you'll see that it has a wide open aperture. That means it lets in lots and lots of light. And that does two things. One, it allows you to shoot in low light, so allowing more light to come in and shooting in low light situations, whether it be at night or if you're a natural light portrait photographer, this lens is your dream come true. It also is great for headshots and giving, let me go back, for bokeh. The second thing would be like a shot depth of field bokeh, where that allows the really, really blurry background, that beautiful blurred out background that really helps you focus in on your subject, your foreground. Typically great for portraits and headshots. This is what this lens is ideal for, is shooting portraits and headshots. That's typically what I use it for, and I'll post a few of my professional headshots that I've taken for clients with this particular lens at the end of the video. Other than that, it's got a well-built lens along with very sharp glass. Some of the sharpest pictures I've taken is with this 85mm. Like if I could choose any lens in my bag to use on a regular basis for any and all situations, I would use this. There's a few problems with this lens. It's 85mm. That's a big zoom. If you're shooting on a crop sensor, now crop sensor basically means like a DSLR, digital single lens reflex camera, that my easiest way to describe it is if you spent less than $2,000 on your camera and you bought a new, you most likely have a crop sensor. And what that does is actually takes the focal length, which focal length is 85mm on this lens, and times it by 1.5 for Nikon and 1.6 for Canon. So on Nikon, this 85mm, if I put it on my D7000, D90, D300, something like that, this would actually be more equivalent to like a 125mm lens. Which means for you is if you put this on your lens, you need lots and lots of space between you and your subject to take the shot, especially if you're trying to do any kind of full body portrait. What I typically use this lens for is I use it on my full frame, my Nikon D3, and shoot headshots. Like this is my favorite thing to use for headshots, or just kind of messing around. I even took it to Europe with me to get some interesting shots that you just can't get with a kit lens type thing, or a zoom lens. So I'm just lucky this wasn't stolen with my D7000. They didn't see this one in the bag. So other than that, this lens is a great lens for headshots, getting that shallow depth of field and even shooting in low light. So if you need a little bit of zoom, say you're at your daughter's like dance recital or something like that where there's low light, or like a basketball game inside, being able to stop down to the 1.8 is very, very handy. to get those faster shutter speeds in those low light situations. And again, like I said, the shallow depth of field. So this has been our review on the 85mm 1.8 lens. And again, in my hand I had the 1.8D series for Nikon. If you have one of the other cameras I mentioned earlier that need the autofocus in the lens, looking for the G series, G as in green. Those are the ones that will be able to focus in the lens. But other than that, if you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, leave them in the comments below. And I encourage you to read the rest of the blog post about this lens and where to buy it and a few more details than what I described today. And yeah, until the next video, I hope to see you then.